Welcome back to Scrub League, guys, and we're here for another episode of Get Good Sam. And as you can see, I'm going to attempt to get good at Artanis. And I have Aden here with me today because he drew the short straw. And he is pretty good with Artanis, so we're going to see how we build him and how I can kind of play him, because, spoiler alert, I have never played Artanis before. So this should be fun.
My disappointment knows no bounds.
Well, why should I have played him already, Aden?
Because he's great. I mean, he's not really great. When he came out, he was pretty great. And he could actually tank, and it was really cool. He was an interesting tank at the time. Like a tank that was pretty much just dependent on shields was actually like a cool, kind of unique thing. Now he's still cool in that he is one of the few guys who like heavily relies on shields, but he's just kind of your bog standard punch dudes in the face bruiser. But he has a special place in my heart.
I like punching dudes in the face, so maybe this will go well.
Well, I mean, we all know how much you love diving the hell in, so that's pretty much all you do as Artanis. You dive the hell in, and then you hope that your team follows up and kills everyone, or you're dead.
Okay, so with knowing that team comp, how do you usually build Artanis, and does it depend on comp, or do you usually go for the same build every time?
My standard build is, and it's actually probably in a circumstance where we don't have, a support or like a good support. It's pretty solid. My standard build is basically have shields up as much as possible all the time. So I usually end up going Seasoned Marksman because you can get an attack speed bonus once you complete it.
So for my beginner self, do you think that's what I should do?
Yeah, let's go for it. Why not? We can try another one eventually. Like I said, this is just like my personal go-to. I love being in a fight and just constantly having my shields popping back up and annoying people.
Okay, so what do each of my abilities do here? I'm just kind of playing around, seeing what's up.
Right, so your Q does a dash in a line that you then spin around and do like triple damage on the return on. And each hit of that cools down your passive, which is of course your shield, just like your attacks do. So really your Q and your attacks are your most important thing as Artanis, because they cool down your shields, especially if you're building them the way I like to build them. They're really important. So that's why we go for the talent at level 1 that can get us an attack speed buff, because that lets you just pop your shields at all times. Your W makes your next 2 attacks launch really, really fast, and also lets you charge at your next target, which is pretty cool. And probably his most well-known ability is his E, which of course sends out like a prism or something. I don't know, something weird. And then you swap positions with an enemy player if you hit them.
Like that?
Like that. And
okay.
Yeah, then you kill a Sylvanas.
That was kind of cool. That felt really good.
And of course, as everyone knows, you can go for God swaps by firing the E during your Q dash. So if you time it right, you can fire out the E.
Oh no.
And like it'll make contact with the enemy as you're almost dove back into your team. And then you swap positions with them, and you're both just heavily out of position. So that's really all he has going for him.
Back into the fray we go. Now, I'm noticing that my team isn't really laning, so I'm going to go and try and lane a bit. Am I able to do that with Artanis?
Yeah, his Blade Dash gives him pretty competent laning abilities.
Like, would you ever want him preferably as a solo laner, or is he one of the ones that can just do it if there's no one else available?
I don't know if I would say preferable, but he's definitely a competent solo laner, so I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Okay, what am I taking at 4 here?
Alright, so what I like to take at this point is the increased shield overload at low health. It'll synergize with another talent that we'll take later. Artanis is one of those weird ones where, because he has basically zero escape, a lot of the time, if you're going to die, you're better off just fighting. Because he won't get away unless you can get like a really, really lucky swap on someone who's like out of position. But attacking and using your Q cools down your shield, which lets you live. So he's weird. But, you know,
Might as well go down in a blaze
maybe
of
that'll be
glory.
good for you. Exactly. Like, as we've seen sometimes when I'm playing them, sometimes you just accidentally live.
Oh my god, that E feels so good when it lands.
Yeah, when you get swaps like that, it's basically like a dream scenario. It's really great.
Okay, what am I taking at 7 here?
So here I like to go Chrono Surge. Phase Prism grants attack speed, because again, we're just doing all of the things that let you have your shield up as much as possible. So at this point, with the E, even if you're just in someone's face fighting them, you just hit them with an E, so you swap places with them, and then your attack speed is like hugely buffed, and then you just keep slamming them in the face.
Okay, how am I getting camps as Artanis?
Once you get some of your later talents, he's actually like remarkably good at it. For right now, he's okay. I mean,
Well, I got Grey Mane help, so I think we'll be okay.
I mean, his biggest problem early game is like he doesn't have, like you can't swap with them to get the attack speed buff, whatever. But his shield is still decent enough that it lets him take camps at the very least without dying to them. And there you see one of the problems with Artanis' dash. You can get knocked out of it. Nobody followed up on getting you massively out of position, so you know. And again, massively out of position is basically just Artanis' natural state of being.
This is why I'm getting along so well with him right now. Okay, the big one, the ult. What do we pick for ults here?
So at this point, with like a Hanzo and a Nova and a Protoss guy. Oh god, Protoss man.
Tacitar?
Yes. No, not Tassadar. The other one.
Phoenix.
The one in the Dragoon. Yeah, Phoenix. Especially with Phoenix, like we want suppression pulse. We're gonna blind the tits out of them. It's gonna be great. We had some really, really strong, like dedicated CC. I love his Purifier Beam for the lulls, but it's always basically a win more ult.
And how much, like, in popularity do you know, like, what generally gets picked?
I know for a fact it's Suppression Pulse, but let me pull up the actual numbers here. Oh wow, you know what? It's actually a lot closer than I thought. But Suppression Pulse is still winning out at like 56% versus 44% for Purifier. I honestly expected it to be a lot more like wildly different than that, but you know.
Okay, can you give me one of your PUBG go-go-goes when you want me to use my ult?
Okay, I will. I mean, it's basically just going to be, are y'all team fighting? And my second qualifier was going to be, is Phoenix there? But he was over there wasting his ult, so, you know, that's fine. And then Sam lived, as Artanis does, wildly out of position, and then died, as Artanis does, wildly out of position.
The swaps feel less good when you land it, but then you realize you're swapping yourself into a really bad place.
Yeah, it's also just way less cool when you realize how like ineffectual the swap is from a foot away. So, you know, melee range, where Artanis wants to be. You pretty much have to try and like god swap for someone else that's standing next to the target that you want. There were so many opportunities for a swap there.
I'm gonna go get a camp.
believe in you.
Okay, what am I taking for 13?
Alright, so 13, I pretty much always take Templar's Zeal for this build, because it's great. It synergizes really well with the other low health talent that we got.
Do you have like a backup talent you would take?
If the enemy team has like really, really heavy spell damage, like, you know, they have like a Li Ming plus another mage or something, then his shield overload is actually really good, or his phase bulwark or whatever it is really good in that case, because we're building him to have his shield up, you know, a maximum amount of the time. I do love his Q cooldown reduction at low health here. Yeah, the thing you need to pay attention to here now is when you're at low health, your Q is going to be basically always up. You want to be trying to land multi-hits with your Q pretty much at all times, so you can just keep having your shield up.
Okay.
Plus, it makes you really annoying to target, so it's great.
I have never played Artanis before, and because he's always kind of intimidated me, because I'm like, I'm going to dive in, and it's just going to be horrible all the time. But it's actually kind of fun.
I mean, you're not wrong. He dives and then dies a lot.
Okay, what do I take for 16?
So this one, there's a lot of really decent options. Like, I normally go for Plasma Burn just to synergize with the maximum shield uptime build that we're going for here. But like, Psionic Wound is amazing. Titan Killer is good if they're going up against, you know, like a Cho'Gall or someone with massive health pool. Even Zealot Charge is very useful if you're having troubles like getting in. So there's really like a lot of very, very good options. But I love Plasma Burn because it's just hilarious to deal like pretty solid area damage at all times.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this.
Look at that, Diablo wants to put you where you want to be.
Aww. And just as a reminder, guys, if you're watching this and you have a helpful Artanis tip for me, let me know. I am here to get better, and I have to keep repeating that to myself, or this gets quite demoralizing. So, if you really like Artanis and you have a really cool build, or like one really hardcore tip that I need, let me know.
The thing I'm seeing a disturbing lack of here, Sam, is
Those?
the god swaps.
Like, I can't do anything. Oh my god. Oh my god, I lived. I lived, Aden. Oh. Hanzo, you ruined it for me, you son of a bitch.
Oh, you just got geometried so hard.
So when are you going to teach me Hanzo, is my revenge question.
We'll get there. I don't know if you're strong enough in the ways of geometry. Also, you immediately forgot that you're supposed to attack people when you're wounded.
Okay, what do we get? What are we taking for 20 here?
So, like, I really hate Force of Will because it's not that great for a level 20 talent, but also, like, it's the one that synergizes best with this build. But, you know, like, Nexus Blades is obviously strong, has, you know, 20% more damage and a slow on your attacks. Pretty good. Yeah, really, any of these are like a decent choice. It all comes down to, like, do we need even more cooldown reduction? Or do we need to blind people even more? Or do we just want to keep people kind of in the fight so we can kill them more?
I kind of like the idea of Nexus Blades. Of, like, going gung-ho.
Well, if we ever manage to finish Season Marksman, Nexus Blades will synergize.
Then let's do that. Let's assume that I can do that.
I believe.
No, you don't. Don't lie to people. You're lying to the
Super
people
believe.
of YouTube.
I super very believe.
So do you know the backstory of Artanis? Because one thing that you and Kevin know that I don't is a lot of the game content that these characters come from. So, do you know the story of Artanis?
Oh god, Kevin is much more up to date on StarCraft lore than me.
I'll have to ask Kevin when he gets back from his vacation.
Yeah, what a dick.
Going on vacation without us.
Yeah, who does he think he is?
Excellent work.
He hated our last episode of Sam Says so much he had to get away.
I mean, I don't really blame him. It was painful.
I could have used a bit more singing from you, my friend.
There was enough singing in that video, okay?
I disagree. I think we should do like an encore.
I feel like I don't get paid enough to sing.
We don't pay you, Aden.
Exactly.
But I did tell you it was gonna be my revenge. Like, you guys thought this was like gonna be fun. It's no.
I guess more fool me for thinking it would be not terrible.
So, unlike a lot of my Get Good Sam episodes, my team seems to be doing fairly well. It might be more of a case of the other team is just doing really bad. But, this seems to be going well for us.
Yeah, I mean, neither team has a healer and the enemy team has a Nova, so, like, pretty good. You're in a pretty good position. Your team has two, like, one very survivable tank and then a decently survivable bruiser who's building for survivability, so...
Well, that's, from what I hear, Urel, that's like her one thing that she can do is survive, because she can't do much more than that.
Yeah, her big thing is having a bunch of health, and somehow we take the W.
Nice. Alright. So what would be the biggest, most important piece of advice when learning to play Artanis?
Kind of just have to be able to read the situation and know when going in hard is not going to just get you killed immediately. Because that's basically the only trick Artanis has. He has the god swaps, and that's about it. So you have to really be able to know, like, okay, if I go in now, my team should be able to follow up, and we'll be able to secure a kill, or a few kills, and then maybe you get out?
Until you get good with him, hope and pray, really.
Yeah, like, really, a lot of the time, you're going to be hoping that you can trade your life for two of the opponent.
And as far as what I think, I've always thought of Artanis as someone who I'd be really, really bad at. So I never tried him, because tanks were never my thing to begin with, until I discovered Diablo, and now I play a tank all the time. But he's actually, I think he's a really great thing for a beginner to learn, particularly positioning, and like when to go, timing, when to go into a fight, so that you can come out not dead. And while he may need to go in, like, it's really good for learning what your limits are in terms of health pool and like when to go into a fight. His abilities aren't that, because, you know, it's not like Kel'Thuzad where you really have to learn combos a lot in order to make him even remotely good. So I do think he's good for beginners, because I had a pretty fun time with him right now. And as you can see on my little level thing here, I had never played him before. So if I can do that well with him, and I'm bronze, like, I'm the bronze goddess, like, let's be real here. Might be a good bruiser maybe to start out with.
Yeah, and the other, like, the nice thing about him is he's kind of as basic as you want him to be. You know, like, you can just play him as a dude who goes in, like, just kind of clashes with the front line, hits some dudes, and then maybe, like, does a swap with someone at default E range, and then, you know, does his little dance. And then as you get more advanced with him, you can kind of pick it up a little bit, and then you can go in for the, like, Q into E, deep into their team's bowels sort of deal.
Cool. So, I think, our next episode of Get Good Sam, if I got it that right, is going to be Cho'Gall, and Aiden's going to love every single minute of this. We are going to attempt to teach me Cho'Gall. This is another character that I have never played, because one, nobody wants to play him with me for obvious reasons, and usually it's Kevin and Aden who play him, and they take up all the Cho'Gall fun. And so now I'm the whiny little sister who wants in on the fun. So, let us know if there's any other characters that you guys would like me to get good at, or let us know any other feedback on our YouTube channel or on Facebook or Twitter. So, until next time, guys, GG's and get good.